Go now. Oh, too late.
Me live. We are live on YouTube. Welcome everybody.
Hi, welcome guys and girls.
Hello everyone. So welcome to our 47th jam. We have a lot of things planned for you guys today. So let me just share my screen and tell you a little bit about us. So welcome. This is the Wednesday Web Jam. For people who are always with us, you know what to expect. For people who are joining us, just be amazed and join our journey. So we have a few things that I'd like to share with you. You are going to be recorded on YouTube. We'll be taking some screenshots to share this kind of, happiness and love either on Instagram or on our website. So if you'd like to join us, please keep your screens on. If you don't, it's not a problem. You can still be with us. And let me tell you a little bit about our speaker today. So we have roles in our lives, whether it's our personal roles or our professional roles. Some we adapt to, some we create, and some we imbibe. So these could be very logical, these could be full of emotions, empathy. So today our speaker, Hugo, is going to tell us a little bit more about the emotional creativity compass. So I'll hand this over to Hugo.
Okay, thank you, Anupa, and thank you for the Web Jam crew to having me here. So I will share my screen. We'll be working on Mario, basically. Okay, so I have here some thoughts and insights for you regarding emotional intelligence, and then we will put our hands on, our heart on, and our mind on in terms of activities to do both individually and on breakout rooms. So emotional intelligence. So we speak a lot about it in companies, in corporations, with our clients, with our customers. And sometimes we don't know what it really means or how that can really materialize. So I would like today to follow up on the last week's WebGen, where we talked as design thinkers or facilitators, like change agents, and the part and the role that we have in terms of creating the best ecosystem for people to put their ideas into place, put them into the air, and then how can we complement and create a better solution with everyone's ideas. So I truly believe that emotions can unleash or block creativity. And for that, we also must take into account that when we are working with our clients or with our people as facilitators, we also have to manage our emotions in terms of, okay, which is my focus, which is my really objective here. And we also must be curious and must be attentive to other person's needs and requirements. Because I think creativity, it's about first safety. So people can feel safe to express their creativity, their ideas, their problems, their requirements, their needs, their pains and then gains. It is also about feedback. So we must create the environment to try to engage and try to materialize some meaningful conversations that I think it is a very good complement for design thinking and for all creative work. And also about focus and decisions. So how can this idea get put into a place of implementation, can be in terms of materialization. So in terms of emotional intelligence, I see this, I don't know, like an interstellar mode. So time and space, they work continuously, they work together. And although I'm presenting this with a sequence, please note that every dynamic and dimension that I will present to you, they work simultaneously and they work very based and very influenced by context. So one of the first topics, or if I can say the most inner topic about emotional intelligence, is about our self-awareness. And self-awareness is about getting the picture or having the knowledge of who am I, which are my aspirations, which are my drivers, which are my resources, which are my gaps, which are my beliefs. So it's basically mapping and having an overview and an helicopter view about my whole being, and which is the way I want to express my whole being to the world. So I would say that being self-aware is basically, regarding the topic, is to put ourselves into an helicopter and try to observe ourselves of which are the key points, the key aspirations, the key resources, and obviously the key evolutions that probably will be needed in order for me to try to attain some kind of objective or goal or just a result. Then we have self-regulation. Self-regulation is about management, about managing the emotions that can overcome or that can be, I don't know, triggered by the self-awareness or by outside contexts or by outside feedbacks and communications. So about self-regulation is how can I use my emotions in order to be present with myself, to enhance my approach or my communication to other people, and how can I drive my emotions in a more balanced, peaceful, focused, and positive way. So it's basically in terms of, I don't know, energy management. It's about, okay, I'm feeling this. Self-awareness is also about being awareness about our feelings. I'm feeling this, for example, I'm mad, okay, but why am I mad? And being mad does or does not help me in order for me to provide and to perform in any kind of context. So when we have the self-awareness and the self-regulation more or less aligned, we as humans have a natural tendency in order to do stuff, to be curious about the people and to be curious about the world. So that is, I would say, the threshold that exists between the inner emotional intelligence and the outer or the social emotional intelligence. So here, when we have that self-awareness and self-regulation fine-tuned, basically what it happens is that we start to look around. Okay, what is happening in the world? Like cats in the window. We want to do things. We want to create things with people. We normally try to be curious in the proper and healthy way about the other people's context, the other people's feelings, the other people's needs, the other people's aspirations. So that threshold, when we can break it or we can cross it, leads to empathy. That is a very design thinking word, right? Design thinking word. Empathy is not only observe what is happening with other people, but it is observing it with, I would say, with kindness, with respect, with no judgments, and with, I don't know, compassion in terms of really understand which is the impact of other people's needs, requirements, pains, and gains. So empathy is about being there for others, is about being observing others and trying to figure it out which kind of point of views or insights are the most important ones for that person. And then we have the communication. When we have all this knowledge and we have all this information, then we are prepared to try to choose and establish which is the better communication strategy. Should I ask questions? Should I give feedback? Should I be in silence and just be here with another another person? Should I only observe? Should I take notes? So the communication is basically how can my verbal and non-verbal communication can positively influence other people's life or interactions when I'm working and I'm interacting with them. So if you see, although we have a rational mind and then we have the emotions that are associated to the heart, I really think that emotional intelligence works like if the heart and the mind, they work together as a single organ. And that's why I put here this image and picture, because I see this not with a specific order, but like the infinite. You can have various triggers. you can be communicated something that will engage some kind of self-awareness. Then you will have to deal with those emotions, and then probably you will give a reply or a response to that. So the emotional intelligence is like basically a cosmos, like a universe where everything acts together, and where the context and the triggers, outside context and outside triggers, obviously they influence us, but then we must have our knowledge, our mapping of what is important for me, what I am feeling and why, what do we want, what do I want to materialize and to express and to engage in my life, and then how can I use the emotions and the feelings and the sensations in order to be on the right track or be in the right path in order to achieve that. Okay, so this is basically the framework of emotional intelligence. How can that be deployed in our work regarding facilitation or consulting or design thinking? So I would say that the emotions is like a lens and is like a filter or a mirror. If our emotions, if they can help us, and if we can make and regulate our emotions in terms of being aware of ourselves and be more engaged with our true self, or what is needed, the competences and the resources that are needed for a determined context, then we would be more attentive and will be more social awareness, because inside of us we are in fine-tuning. So probably we will be more open, more open-minded, more open-hearted to what is happening with other people. So this is about emotions. Also behaviors, because we as facilitators and consultants and design thinkers, we use the tools, we want to create ideas, etc., etc. But in order to ideas to become innovation and to innovation to become results and impacts, we must feed them with behaviors, with proper behaviors in terms of rules of engagement, transparency to have meaningful conversations, not being ashamed of sharing ideas or sharing stupid ideas, for example. And then with behaviors, what we do is we manage our relationships with ourselves and with others. And obviously, that will have some kind of impact in our work. Because if we are fine-tuned, probably we will make better decisions. We will engage and identify on which topics and subjects of our life that are really important. And then probably we will try to organize everything regarding our personal and professional life in order to create performance and results or success. And every one of us has its own definition of success. Obviously, as facilitators, if we can deploy and if we can share this kind of approach with our clients, customers, friends, co-hosts, co-facilitators, etc., obviously that will be our contribution to others people's performance with a common purpose and with an ecological purpose, because my objectives may not be ecologic or may not be win-win to other people. So the question is, how can I create a consensus about my aspirations, about my needs, about my objectives, and how can I synchronize them with other people's aspirations, needs, and objectives? Okay, so in a nutshell, this is how emotional intelligence is mapped or can be presented. And I would say here in this right image is how this can be deployed in terms of facilitation or in terms of consulting work or any other interaction that you are thinking of. Okay, so I'm just here focusing on the facilitation side and keeping up with the conversation that we had last week about change and being change agents. So I will stop sharing my screen now, and I would ask you to do the following. Let me check if this is okay. Okay. So everyone is seeing my screen? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So if you have a mobile phone, or I think Anupa is putting the link on the chat. I would like us to make a qualitative assessment in terms of which of those 5 dimensions that I've spoke of: self-awareness, self-regulation, auto-motivation or auto-curiosity, empathy, or communication, which are the 2 of the most natural and innate dimensions of emotional intelligence that you have. So, for example, if you are in your mobile, go to www.menti.com, use the code 56864, and start voting or start choosing which are the dimensions that you are most fond of or that you think that work better on you. Okay. Okay, so votes are coming up.
Yeah, there is a lot of correlation and a lot of similarities that we're seeing. When I saw this, yeah, self-awareness was definitely one of them, because I think this is a natural attribute that one needs to have to kind of
Yeah.
have these this kind of, you know, emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I see that self-regulation is getting behind. Surprise, surprise, guys and girls. Okay, just a couple of minutes to our voting session. Oh, so great correlation between curiosity and empathy and self-awareness. Communication, communication is very, very much influenced by self-regulation, of course, the way we communicate, the way we transmit information and ideas. Okay. So just a couple, 2 or more minutes. So I would say I think these are our final results. So Anup, I think we have 5 minutes for discussion and sharing.
We definitely, yes. I think there's a lot of conversation going on in the chat as well. So I think if we could ask some people to, you know, share their thoughts, so we can all be a part of that.
Okay, go ahead. So,
Michael, Jen, I see Claudia. Would you like to say something?
Yeah, I can say something. We were, as Hugo was talking, there was a thought that was shared in the chat by Ilona. I hope I'm saying that name correctly. Just about the dynamics between stimulus and our responses. And the fact that, and I'd never actually saw it written that way, that there is a space there, you know, between you being stimulated and you actually enacting a response. And in that space, there is choice.
Exactly.
Obviously, it's very difficult to sometimes realize that the space is there because we tend to react very quickly. And I think this is a powerful idea, which brings us back to the question of you can be very self-aware, but self-regulation is quite important, and we're not very good at self-regulating. And I wonder if we were better, because I think that takes discipline and intentionality and just pausing. I think that the relationships between humans would be incredibly different if we were more able to self-regulate and if we were more able to understand there is a space and to actually prepare different responses and not reactions.
Yeah, so true, Claudia. Yeah, there is quite a difference between reactions and responses. There is a fraction of second that we can on which we can choose. And if we have a good self-awareness and a good self-regulation, that time frame of choosing can be almost immediately. If we don't, perhaps we will think in terms of mindset or in terms of past or in terms of, I don't know, bitterness or something like that, and not about which is the concrete and real context that we are living in and interacting with. Cool. more thoughts and sharings about emotional intelligence, these results.
I was wondering. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Colin.
Hey, Jen.
Hey.
What came up for me when I was taking this was I've only got two choices, and then self-awareness, and I was pulled to self-awareness, but then I immediately asked, well, what am I? I'm aware of what I'm aware of. What am I not aware of? What are my blind spots? And in a way that almost implied that developing self-awareness would be supported by the communal, by the group.
Yeah, Jen?
Yeah, I agree totally with Colin, because I think it's about self-awareness of what you know you should be looking at, but what don't you know. But I was wondering about the gap between self-regulation and empathy, that you could self-regulate, but translating that into action requires the empathy. So if you don't have the empathy, even though you're self-aware and self-regulated, it doesn't help you kind of execute on what you're aware about.
So are we talking about bias here? Self-bias about ourselves?
Or maybe it's just about responding. I mean, doing something about what you're aware of is a whole other thing to being aware of it.
Exactly.
So I can regulate how I respond potentially, but not that I'm responding in a way that is empathetic to whoever I'm responding to.
Candice, please go ahead.
Yes, hi. I think it's interesting in the field, because emotions are generally, like, the brain and thinking parts of things are accepted, but emotions are still in a lot of environments not welcomed or considered valuable. And so I think often our repression on that can make the self-regulation difficult, because we're trying not to have what we are experiencing, and then it's hard to, I don't know, that's was the thought I had, because yeah.
Yeah, in terms of self-awareness, in order for us to get the most real, not perfect, real self-awareness, we need two outer things: exploration and feedback. And feedback is linked with empathy and communication. And probably with those three weapons, if I can say so, then we probably can have the knowledge to see if our emotions and reactions are based on reality and aspirations and values, or if they are based in bad experiences and I don't know, bitterness and past episodes or something like that. So for me to be self-aware, I need to have feedback, and I need to explore myself with others, because I'm blind of myself.
Okay. Claudia, I think you are the last one to share. Pedro, sorry.
Pedro can go, because I've
No. We know him. We know him. You go first, Claire.
Yeah, we know him. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, doesn't sound fair, but it's okay. I'm going to take my chance here. It's just building on what Hugo has just said, and I shared it in the chat as well. I've never actually encountered a sort of more impactful way and maybe quicker way for us to attenuate our blind spots than to get feedback from the people that we interact with. The thing is that I think there's a void of feedback in most human relations. I mean, people are not spectacular feedback givers, and they're not spectacular feedback receivers. We tend to take everything very personal. And so it's really a shame, because if I'm interacting with people and they're not actually telling me about my impact, then I'm going to continue, I'm going to remain blind to the impacts that my behaviors have and that my choices have. So I think the two things are actually related.
Yeah, and yeah, thank you, Claudia. Yeah, and take this and those things that you were saying in terms of feedback, in terms of transparency, communication, exploration, etc. These are all triggers and are all energies in order for us to unleash creativity within ourselves, and we unleash creativities in others, in order to other people to find their own voice, and then they can use it and deploy it as well as they want. Okay. Any final thoughts or comment?
Final thought. One final thought, perhaps, since you, Hugo, you opened the door for me. I'll take it. I was, I mean, I'm totally not an expert in this field, but I was trying to understand if self-awareness and perhaps a bit like common sense, they depend a lot perhaps on the situation. And if you're surrounded by experts in some field and you try to engage with them, most of them will feel that you really have no common sense in whatever you're saying, because you're not just up to their level. And so most of what you say is just not attaching to the discussion. And then self-awareness, if you're also together with two other people who are extremely self-aware, you will look like a monkey, probably, and being very, not perhaps rude, but very primitive in the reactions.
Yeah.
And so it might also be, yeah, depending on whoever is around you somehow.
Exactly. The environment and the ecosystem on which you live in, it is very important, because if you are being stuck with noise, outside noise about people saying who you are, what are your aspirations, what are your objectives, etc., perhaps it will be not your self-awareness, it will be other people's awareness about you. It is very, very, very different. So this is basically, I don't know, my advice would be to use the Nixon methodology. Nixon is a Dutch word for doing nothing with a purpose. So try to schedule some meetings with yourself, okay, and try to do nothing. And okay, which things I am aware of and which things I am not aware of, but probably could be important to be on this context.
I think that's a great point, Hugo, to kind of, for us to kind of reevaluate where we stand and who we are, and for us to take us, for you to take us to our next exercise, of, you know, how we position ourselves within this environment of how we see ourselves. So do you want to talk about your next exercise?
Yes, I will. Just give me 1 second, please. Okay. So let's imagine, as you said, we are now on the bottom of the mirror board, on the left bottom of the mirror board. And so you said, and I agree, that we must work as a tribe. Every one of us has roles, as a participant, as a facilitator, as a consultant. Okay, and so my proposal here is for you to do the following, and we'll do it here in plenary, okay, everyone at the same time. So I would like you to read each one of these 4 descriptions about 4 tribes that live in this valley with a nice river and with nice mountains, okay? So read the tribe description and then place your name in a post-it on the tribe or in the zone of the tribe where you relate the most, okay? And I will name and I will describe the tribes. So first tribe is tribe flow. People who like imagining, speculating, thinking about the less obvious. People who like to defy the status quo, and they like to be strategizers, and they like to look at the big picture and the possibilities before acting or even sharing things with other people. So this is tribe number 1. Tribe number two, the field tribe. They are all about caring and supporting. So they want to know everyone's feelings about some kind of topic, subject, methodology, or engagement or process. And they will take into consideration everyone's voices. And normally the feelers, if I can use this word, normally they care more about the team or the group rather than themselves, okay? So they are about the community. Then we have the tribe action. These are the guys and girls that is just spot on, okay? Let's do it, but no buts. Let's do it, yeah, but have you think it? No. Have you got data? No. Just do it. They are people who just engage in activities. They like to create, they like to materialize things. sometimes without any strategic perspective, but the drive is action. The drive is creating something, okay? And then we have, the tribe structure. They love and like the detail, data, information. They like to know why, when, where, how much. They need all this kind of information, and they need to comprehend in terms of logic and sequence and interactions, everything that is happening before they act. So my challenge for you is to take, I don't know, 30 seconds, 1 minute around all the tribes and put your name on the tribes that you feel that you are most engaged with, okay, in terms of traits, okay? If you are in doubt, think, okay, if I had to choose just one, what would be the most important for me as a facilitator or as a professional, or even personally, okay? So we are getting some names on the flow tribe, okay? It makes sense. A lot of community people also. Okay. Nice. Nice. Okay. Anupa, 1 more minute for this?
Yes.
Okay.
Hugo, one question. Do I fill in my name as a facilitator, or me personally? Because these are two different things
Yes.
for me.
Yes. The challenge or the trigger is as a facilitator, which is the tribe you resonate the most with. Okay.
Yeah.
But you
so
can
how do
expand
you
that
act
to,
as a facilitator?
Yeah, but you can expand that to your personal view. Nevertheless, probably the ideal is that the personal and the facilitator would be the same, right?
Oh boy,
yeah,
I have a problem.
It's not easy.
Yeah, that's where when I was looking at this exercise, I felt that, this is quite something that you have to grapple with. Like, do you choose as a facilitator, or do you choose individually? Because at times you might be the same person, but you might need to shift your perspective, given the environment and the situation you are in. So then how do you, like, what is it that you choose, and how do you see yourself?
Yeah. The trigger question, I think I mentioned it, but then I've showed it, is as a facilitator, which are the tribe that resonates the most with us. Okay. Okay. So
Union, can you just lock the visual on the board, please? Because I think it's moving.
It's not moving on my side.
Okay. I just see
I did lock it. Yeah, I saw it. Thanks, Pam.
Yeah.
So 30 more seconds in order for us to choose. Okay, so guys and girls, are you ready to engage with our next activity? Anupa, please fill me in with the chat responses or the faces, because I'm just seeing a few of them.
Yeah, I think there's I feel that there is a lot of Yeah, I think that there's a mixed response in in the way that people have given their let's say their inputs. I think there's a lot in the tribe flow. I see some with the action. I think it's quite divided. So I wouldn't
Okay.
say like your Mentimeter that there was some towards empathy and communication, but yeah, I think it's quite divided here.
Yeah, but with the Mentimeter, we were talking about the dimensions of emotional
Yeah, yeah,
intelligence. Now we
yeah,
are talking about behaviors and jobs.
yeah,
Very
yeah.
different,
So
or
yeah,
somehow different.
yeah. But I'm just
Okay.
saying in the attitude and the way that people are choosing. So obviously,
Yeah,
now that the perspective has changed, obviously the way that the people are choosing. So that's of something that, to be reckoned with, that, the way that, how people's minds think.
exactly. So should we go to our next activity, Anupa?
Yes, I think we can do that. I'm just going to pop it into the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, it's done.
Okay. So now we will be working in breakout rooms. Okay. With groups of 3 or 4 people, and there will be 2 activities. The first one will be individual activity, where you will create some kind of compass about your emotional intelligence and how that reflects on your behaviors and your interactions and your likes and dislikes with possible other members of the tribes. Okay. So for that set out, we will have 7 minutes for us individually to fill up the workstation that I will show with an example. Okay. And the next 10 minutes, still within the same breakout room, everyone on the breakout room will discuss, engage, reflect, interact, share, etc., etc. So the order here is to diverge as an individual and then try to share, and if you want, try to get some kind of 2 or 3 insights as a group on the later stage. So 7 minutes for the individual part and 10 minutes for the group part. So here there are 2 examples on how we have a set of breakout rooms. So you will be assigned to the workstations that correlate to the breakout rooms that you will be sent to. Okay, and this is my example. So okay, I'm Hugo. I'm a flow. I belong to tribe flow. Okay, and the questions that you will answer in order to create. Sorry, in order to create the results are these ones. Okay, first of all, which are the strengths that your tribe traits can add or can enhance to your facilitator or professional role? Okay, 1 or 2 adjectives or insights. Then the second one, what are the limitations of your tribe traits? So for a determined context or within a facilitator or a professional role, which are the limitations that your traits or your tribe's traits can bring up to the table? Third question, this is the most the funnier one. Which are the tribes that you find most difficult to work with and why? Okay. So, and be cool, be honest, and be transparent. This is about my difficulties about working with other people, not engaging or saying bad things about other people. It's always about me. And then, what's the one thing that you value about each one of the other 3 tribes? Okay, so it's about, okay, I don't belong to that tribe, I don't correlate with that, but I respect that. Okay, so these are the questions that are in the center of the breakout workstations. And this is my example, for example, and then I will ask, I can ask Anupa to share there on the fly also. So I belong to the tribe flow. I think I can, in terms of strengths, believing that everything is possible and liking to clearly defy the status quo, it can be something positive as a facilitator. Sometimes in terms of limitations, sometimes the possibilities and imagination is so great, so high that I sometimes can be lost, and I can make my clients and my participants and delegates also lost because they just want to imagine things. And sometimes I just want to share all kinds of possibilities and ideas that sometimes I try to squeeze too much information in my workshops, okay? Which is a tribe that I have some challenges to work with most, the action tribe, because I believe that, okay, doing things is important, but I do believe that dreams should have a plan and the involvement of others. And sometimes the action guys and girls, they don't correlate that much with that. I respect in the action tribe, the drive and making things happen. In the field tribe, the kindness and empathy for others' context. And in terms of the structured tribe, they bring logic, questions, data, and info to emotions and dreams. So this would be my example, okay? Anupa, I don't know if you want to share yours quickly?
Yeah, I could, like, in a brief snippet. So the thing is that when I was looking at the four parameters, for me, I felt that I was a bit of both. So when Hugo said that choose one, for me to kind of box myself into one category wasn't working, because I feel as a person that I feel action is important within, when you're facilitating, but as well as you need the quotient of empathy and also being human centered. So the thing is that I feel so that's why I chose both. And in reference to the questions, I felt that I took both the points of action and feel, and I've kind of given my answers. So this is how I've kind of looked at the activity of taking different criterias and putting it together.
Okay, so I think we are ready to send people to the hyperspace, right?
Yes,
Yes.
Union, if you could help us by sending everybody
Yes,
into a
of
different
course.
journey.
Yes, of course. There are 14 breakout rooms. You might be in a room with 3 persons. You might be in a room with 4 persons. Time-wise, I need to help you a little bit. I think there is 6 minutes for the individual part, and exchanging, let's take 8 minutes.
Okay,
6
perfect.
minutes and 8 minutes. Okay.
Okay,
I'm going to
perfect.
say bye to you now, guys. See you
Bye-bye,
later
guys.
on. There, everybody is going.
Yeah, I think that so Hugo, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what was the purpose and the intent of why you chose this topic?
I would say because I think that normally these kind of topics and others, they are worked in the separate way, I would think. So you have businesses, you have processes, you have design thinking, you have product and services, you have marketing, etc., and you have leadership and human capital. And I think these kind of topics, they should be worked together with some kind of concrete or business case or specific pain and gain to be dealt with.
Yeah.
So, and I think as a facilitator, sometimes we want to create results, but we don't value the need for us to try first to engage and to form and to create organically a good atmosphere, a relaxed atmosphere, and a transparent atmosphere when people are working together. Because we as facilitators, we have to earn the trust of our participants, I don't know, in half an hour or so. And we need to know how can I react and which are my purposes to some of the workshops, and which are the key points, and which are my contributions to it. And then also I must be attentive and try to engage and try to understand which are the other people's references, habits, contexts, stories, and histories, and how they blend and how they integrate regarding their needs and their pains and gains. So if these communication vessels, if this transparency, if this funny approach to serious things, if it does not happen, I believe that will be talking about data and logic or even features, and not talking about real transformation. That will be my I don't know, my top goal in terms of the objective of this jam. And by serendipity or coincidence, last week's jam, where we talked about the MOB and changes and the roles that we have as facilitators and the roles that the participants have in terms of enhancing or blocking the innovation and change, I really do think that that sometimes we cannot have proper results because of lack of communication, and because sometimes we take offense with something that is not done by harm, for example. And in terms of, okay, what is my main goal, which is my objective, which is my aspirations, how can I regulate and point my resources and beliefs on that, and how can I interact or best interact myself with the other selves that are surrounding me in a facilitation room or something like that. I think that will be important. In almost every workshop that I do, regardless of the topic or the theme, I do this kind of exercise in order to create some kind of tribe country. Okay, we are a country on this room. We have different tribes, okay, with different assets and different traits, but those tribes, they are within the country, and these tribes are or have a common purpose. So I'm trying here to show how can we reflect ourselves regarding this theme as facilitators or persons, and how can we also engage and be more attentive to others, and to create a safer, a trust and a feedback space when we are working with us and a feedback with other teams.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point, because I think when we are in different setups, whether it's within the public sector or even the private sector, whether it's an organizational setup or whether it's let's say councils, I think people come with very different mindsets. So I think an approach like this kind of binds people in terms of their basic personalities and behaviors, and it works as a common point. So I feel that in that sense, it's almost like an icebreaker to what you're trying to achieve within the parameters of a workshop. And it's bringing people, through various scopes, like what you were talking about, whether it's self awareness or regulation or empathy and communication. It just builds a whole area of comfort for the participants, and even you as a facilitator.
Yeah, and we also must acknowledge that change happens one person at a time. So we need to know what change means to each one of the individuals, okay, and what drives change and what blocks change within them. And so I would say this exercise or this approach can be a very good icebreaker, but also some kind of, I don't know, a team canvas or a team rules of engagement for the rest of the workshop or for the rest of the project. Because basically what you are doing with this activity is basically, I don't know, like team coaching or like systemic coaching, where we know everyone in terms of emotions, behaviors, and performance or capabilities. And then we can figure it out like a job craft. How can we deploy the right activities, and how can we communicate the better ideas with everyone? And then creativity is also about implementation and about deployment. And then which are the best people to deploy, communicate, create, engage, I don't know, imagine, etc., etc. So this is about open your resources box to others, and giving to others some kind of instruction manual in terms of how can I engage that person, I would say.
There are a few others. Yeah, exactly. There are a few others here. What do they think? Yes, Union. Please
sorry?
go on. I was just asking what others think. So, Union, please go on.
Yes, I can go, but Silvio is also in the room. If you would like to ask a question, please go ahead.
Or
Okay.
maybe Patricia?
Yeah. Well, Hugo, I wonder, have you ever experienced that people were not, you know, feeling connected to the explanation of trying to find your tribe and also watching another tribe and trying to, is it empathize or, you know, try to see the positive sides of another tribe? I wonder, have you ever experienced that people said, oh, no, Hugo, I'm not going to do this. This is not working for me.
Yeah. I have experienced that, Eugene, when I started the workshop with this activity. But then I realized that we need a previous icebreaker or a previous warm-up. That is to people to disconnect from reality, from rationale, from hierarchies, from processes, from jobs, and to connect them as persons, whole persons, with relational, emotional, and technical skills and competences. I do that with some kind of creative activity, like, I don't know, creating some prototype with things that are in the room and to build me a backpack for consultants. Or I use the stupid cow exercise where you have to draw a cow and then invent innovative and disruptive business with that. Okay, and then people feel that it's safe, and then people feel that, okay, here I can express myself both technically, relational, and emotionally. Then, when that kind of disconstruction of the daily life is done, then people are much more open to engaging in this kind of meaningful conversation, because it's meaningful, but can be also difficult in some cases, or most of the cases.
So what I hear you saying is that you have to disconnect them first from the reality they are in.
Exactly. Exactly. Only then they will be more open and more prepared and more and flowing in flow state, in order to see this not as pointing things, but normally people engage this like a funny competition. The people I don't like to work is the, I don't know, the flow guys, because they are always imagine things, and I like to do stuff. So it turns out to be a competition in daily life that that transforms into some kind of funny and healthy competition, in terms of they laugh about themselves.
Yes. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
So, do they see the value in this? Because I think the key thing I feel in an exercise like this or an approach like this is, how do you see the value and empathy to kind of correlate that with other people and to yourself, you know, to bring this kind of environment?
I normally I don't explicitly state the value of this exercise, okay? Because people, they get in some kind of energy and vibe that they want to do more things. So I step out, okay, next activity is, okay? But later, when people are debriefing, they say that if they haven't done this kind of activity, probably they would not have created some kind of coherent and robust environment, safe, creative, and relaxed environment, in order to people to share everything that is important for the business case or for the problem or for the opportunity that we are building. So I would say that this is not, in terms of the activities of the dynamics, this is not the ones that people say, oh no, this is crucial in terms of conscious, but I know and I feel that this is a really good trigger and a really good unblocker of the reality, with stress and with problems and etc., in order to them to get more strategic and more creative. So I would say this is a very invisible, in terms of, how can I say, impact for them. But I would say, from my experience, that this would be one of the most critical exercises and dynamics that I do, because after that, if things run smoothly, every dynamic, whether it is a challenge definition, immersion.
Hugo, I'm going to stop you. I'm going to get
okay.
the people back. You
No
can
worries.
you can do one popcorn feedback, and then we end the show and continue the conversation in the backstage. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to close the rooms now.
Yeah, I'm quite interested to see what people had to say and how did they share their new identities with each other.
Yeah, well, let us see. Oh, the boards are great. So, should we share the middle board,
No,
Anupa?
I
Union?
I don't think that's necessary.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's ask for a verbal
Yeah.
exchange, and then
Okay.
take it to the backstage
Yeah.
as well.
Okay. So someone is sharing the screen now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Welcome back, everybody.
Yes, we're all waiting to hear what you have to share with us.
Oh, that was too fast. So the greatest compliment of all. So
Okay.
guys and girls, your thoughts and insights in popcorn feedback. And else.
I
Oh,
see
well, I'll
Emil
break
talking.
the ice. I'll break the ice. It
Yeah.
was very nice talking with my polar opposite, Kerry, and Jasmine as well. So that's all I'm going to say. We had a lot of fun. It was very nice. And actually a huge amount of structure for a vision man. Thank you very much, Hugo.
Okay, thank you so much.
And thank you to Kerry and Jasmine too.
Okay, more thoughts and insights?
Yeah, nice exercise. I enjoyed observing reading some of what everybody else was writing and getting some of the different perspectives. Thank you for that. Yeah, very good.
Okay.
I have a comment for you, Hugo. Thanks a lot for this nice exercise. So for me, I realized by having to choose a tribe that I had been put in a tribe because of what I can do for many, many, many years. And actually, my heart tribe is another one. And this is where I'm now. So it's a very good also self-reflection on where, so to map oneself. Yeah. Sometimes it's just, through what you can do, you are just put in one drawer, in one tribe, but you feel it's not really maybe the one you belong to.
Okay. That can be a collateral result of this activity, yeah.
Thank you, everyone. We also, Hugo, would you like to end by giving them your giveaway? I'll pop it into the chat.
Yeah, I have a giveaway for you. So I've come up with a PDF where you have both of the slides regarding emotional intelligence, and you have some kind of roadmap for the activities that we have performed. So for you to use for yourselves, or if you want to use with your clients, customers, partners, colleagues, clients, the delegates and participants. Okay, so you have all the frameworks that we were using in a PDF. I think Anupa has already placed the link. Yeah, right. Yeah. So for you, instead of using 10 minutes to do that, try use, I don't know, half an hour for you. Okay, and probably there will be 3 or 4 or 5 interactions on each of your PDFs. So I hope that you can use it and have some kind of purpose and results with that. And thank you so much for your work and for having me here. Okay.
That was a lovely session. I think we all know where we stand now, or where we could stand in the future. I'd like Anna to introduce our next week's speaker. I am going to again share my screen and just.
Yeah, so next week we have Jim Kalbeck from Mural. He is the chief evangelist at Mural. He also wrote a book about jobs to be done, which is so it's actually jobs to be done, and his vision on that, and his book that's going to be the topic. But it's also so about obviously Mural and the story behind Mural and what they've at least to me personally, they've went through, like all of us went through a very strange year. And obviously for Mural, like Miro, like all these online platforms, it has been financially very positive year because they got a lot of investment because everybody all of a sudden started using their tools. So I think it's a really exciting guest. And if you are not familiar with Mural, please look it up. It's like Miro, it's an amazing tool. And I'm very happy to have Jim as our guest. So next week. And I stopped talking.
Yes, and we stopped sharing YouTube because I think we can start our backstage and we can